Hi everyone. Now, as you can see in the vise, I have basically a Spey-like body. It's just quickly put together because in this video I'm going to hopefully try and show you how I actually tie a bronze mallard wing on. Now, one of the main things you have to do before you tie a bronze mallard wing is find some really good feathers. Now, just to give you an idea, and this is I'm not advertising for vineyards, but this is where I get a lot of my feathers, so I have to show them. So these are selected, as you can see, it's mallard duck, obviously bronze shoulder, large, and meaning 10 feathers. There's 5 left and 5 right feathers so you have a right and a left. And you can see these are from vineyards. Now, for this size of fly, or quite a few, you want to have the large or the medium feathers, which will work fine for doing Spey flies. Now, the feather itself, they'll come like this. This is a basic sort of large bronze mallard feather. Being in the packet, they're quite flat, which is actually ideal. So if you have feathers that are a bit curved or so, you can either steam them, as I've shown them on. I'll put a link under the video so you can see it, where I steam the feathers and get them to look as good as this. As well as, if you want, you can actually press them, just put them between sheets of paper and put some books on top and just leave them for a day or two and they'll come out nice and flat like this. I mean, these are just sitting in the packet. I'll show you a whole packet. It's just a whole packet, just like this, and they're all nice and flat. So now the first thing I normally do is take away in the feather is which is basically the waist at the base. So I tear them away from the feather. Now, then I'm left with, I pick the best part. Now, you can see, I don't know if you can see in this, I'll just come out a wee bit, where the best part of one feather is maybe a tad lower, or sorry, you can start slightly lower, whereas this I'm slightly higher. And then what I do then is I run through my fingers, looking for feathers that may be twisted. And then I just bring them, or basically marry them where they should be while they're still on the feather. So I just take a wee bit of time to do that, and then I bring them back together so that they're sitting nice. And if they don't sit right, if you feel you've damaged them in some way, just back over a steam kettle, and again they'll sit nice. So you've got your right and your left. So what I would do then, the way I do it anyway, here I'm going to go just a wee tad further up to get the best feather, just much the same distance from this one. And the best mark feather. Now for this size of fly, they don't go too wide. Just take your time. Now there's a feather, what happens, what you get in these feathers is that they cross over, meaning they marry where they shouldn't be. So I can use my needle and I just lightly bring my fingers through and put it back to where it should be. And once I'm happy with the position, I bring them slightly out from the stem, like you can see what I'm doing there, and then I tear it off. You can cut away if you want, but I prefer to tear it off. Same on this side, I just did exactly the same. Bring it out, and if I miss one, I just bring it back together. And I'm happy with the position of the fibre, I tear it off. Now, it's not always 90 degrees from the feather, but it's close sometimes. Now what I've got here is then obviously a right and a left. Now I'm going to line up the ends, just like that. But it's important you line up the back as much as you do the front. So if you line them up, so they're perfect where you want. Now these may be different lengths, but what I like to do is bring my fingers close to the back and just bring my fingers through. Basically what this is doing, it straightens the fibre, takes out the kind of twist, and then run my fingers through and the whole feather is sitting like perfect. So I've got a right and a left, I've got a roof-like shape if I want, I can sit it on the bottom of the fly like this. Now I usually come in, now it's important that you wax your thread. A couple of things by waxing your thread, obviously gives it a lot more strength, it strengthens the thread. People say, well, how does it do that? It does, it just makes it slightly stronger. It's what they do in the sewing trade, that's how they get it to sit, and how they get it to, when they're spinning it through something, it's much better. Now, when you're tying on it, using the wax thread, it gives it more grip. It doesn't slip, it doesn't slide down the feather, it stays on the area where you want it to tie in. So that's the other main reason as well. Now, you'll see me sometimes doing double wings. What I would do sometimes to support the main wing, I would say I've got a couple of waist feathers. Right, we are. So I've got this is the feather, the fibre. It's not well marked from the base, so I'll use these up as support. So I'm not too fussy with them. I'll still kind of tie them in like they were going to look good. I'll tie them short, usually slightly shorter than the main wing, which would be to the bit just slightly by the body. So I would tie that to the end of the body, and then I would just hold them on the top and just pinch and loop them. But I'm not, as I say, I'm not being too fussy. Just get them to sit nice and low. I mean, the wing's not too bad there. And then I would use that as support. And I'll do that, I'll just leave them so you can see what I'm doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in a wee bit closer so you can see. Now I'll show what it looks like both sides. So it's actually not too bad, that feather. There's a fibre on your side where you see it's dropped down. Now I can basically just hold the wing and then I can bring that back up. So I can just use your nail and you see how I brought it back up just by bringing it there. Now I'm going to trim these away, trim away the base, and then wax on my thread. I'm just going to quickly tie this in, so there. Now go back to our wing on my desk. So we've got our wing ready, so I've got them sitting right and left. Just checking this feather. Make sure it's sitting right. Just make sure your feathers or fibres are sitting in line. I don't know if you can see that there. And then make sure the ends at the back here are basically sitting right, and then you hold that with your finger and thumb so they don't move. Then you come in, you get your length that you want, which is there. We're going to fold this down either side. Make sure these are in line up here, and then, I mean, pinch and loop's what you should do, but basically I'm going to try and do it in a way that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to take it easy. A couple of loose straps here, tighten up with another one or two, and then see how it's going to sit. Now, what's your side like? Now that looks okay. Now you see I got away with just being gentle with the feather. If it doesn't work, then like a pinch and loop or so, but just to make sure that you hold the fingers tight within your fingers. But you can, with these feathers, I'm going to go back and do that again. Let them spring out. Just hold the ends. Now you basically don't want to be working with bronze mallard too much. So I brought them both back together. You sit them on the top. This time I'll pinch and loop, so bring them down. Again, just fold them. Make sure these ends are straight. Bring your fingers up, take the thread up, pinch the thread, come down, nice and easy. Do it again. And then I'll do a couple of turns to make sure it's not going to move. See what we're like. And I don't know if you can see that. But that's fine. That makes a reasonable wing. The right length, the suit. I mean, everybody's got their own idea of what the length it should be. You're trying to get a nice sort of taper where it runs onto the hackle. As I say, I just quickly tied the flag so that I can show you the wing. And I'm just using a hen hackle, just a large hen. And then I'm just going to trim away. So I'm going to come in with a nice fine pair of scissors, nice straight cut. Wax your thread again, and then tight as you can. Now I usually bring the thread to the front of the cut ends and then work up onto them, making sure that it's catching it in nice and tight all the way up. And then I'm going to whip finish. it's something you have to really practice, I mean, as well. I mean, there's not a lot of effort. It's just what makes the wing is the feathers. If you've got a decent feather, you've got a decent wing. Most times I can get by with some of the worst wings in the world, like. But to be honest with you, if you've got good feathers, when it comes to classic flies, and I don't normally like to say this, but basically, the flies are only as good as the materials you have at times, because of the style or because of the quality makes it quicker or makes it easier to apply or just to tie the feathers in. Or if you've got feathers that are a bit rough looking, if you wash them, clean them, dry them and present them right, and they'll sit right. So if you do that, especially with bronze mallard, as I say, I probably could have got away with a medium feather on this fly, instead of using the larger ones, because I could tie much bigger than this. So a medium to a large bronze mallard feather would tie this fly. So, and then all you have to do is I usually, if these are fishing flies, means a couple of coats of varnish, or I usually have super glue, but my super glue, there we go. The reason I use super glue is for speed. And all I'm doing is tapping the head here. Speed meaning it dries quick. And then we just tap the head. Allow that to dry, and it will dry within a short time. But the head will be really hard and solid, and then a coat of clear varnish or a couple of coats of clear varnish, and that's it. So anyway, I'll just come out a wee bit so you can see that fly. And there we are. And that's hopefully shows you how I get the wing to sit nice. Whether it be a fishing fly or for a fly for display. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. And again, if you enjoy the videos, if you haven't subscribed, it is free. Please do, it does help, and it basically shows that I'm doing things right. So thank you for watching, and until next time.